Hello and welcome to You Sew You. My name's Zoe and this is my channel where I share all of my knitting, sewing and other crafty bits and pieces that I get up to. Today I'll be sharing with you a couple of finished objects from the past couple of weeks since I last saw you, as well as my current active works in progress and some plans that I've got for the next week. And then at the end I'll be sharing my resolutions for 2019, which is the series of questions set out by Penguin and Pear, and I'll link her channel down below. I know Sian of Kittenish Behaviour has already done hers, so by all means go and check out what those guys are saying for 2019 as well. So if we dive straight in with what I am wearing, this is one of my finished projects. This is a Tilly and the Buttons Stella hoodie. That's from her stretch book. I have made mine in the main colour is this gorgeous purpley burgundy from Lady McElroy, which I got from Sherwood's in one of their sales. The contrast lining in the hood, and I've also done a contrast kangaroo pocket here. That was from a remnant of sweatshirting, again from Sherwood's. The cord is actually a shoelace, which I bought from Amazon. You don't need to get all fancy with cords and buying, making it out of sweatshirting if you don't want to. I got about 12 pairs of shoelaces for about £5-ish. It wasn't really very expensive at all. So obviously I've got another one of these pink ones as well as 11 other colours. So that's plenty of cords for any hoodies and jogger bottoms I might want to come up with in the future. So that's my first finished object. It's really comfortable, I wear it all the time. It gave me a good excuse to try out twin needles on my new sewing machine, which I must say is working remarkably well. I'm so impressed with it, it's such a good Christmas present, so thank you, Dad. And I'm really enjoying wearing this. It's just right for the time of year. The sweatshirting itself has a nice fleecy lining, so as you can see there, I haven't actually finished all the edges of the seams off because with sweatshirting you don't actually need to. Excuse me if I keep looking down a little bit. I've got my computer in front of me with my notes on it, as well as reflecting what you guys are seeing so that I can keep an eye on what's going on and use the better camera on my phone rather than the selfie one. So hopefully the quality is quite good for you at the moment. I've also got some new lights, you might notice them a bit brighter today. So hopefully that'll be good for you guys. So yeah, really comfy finished item. It's rather chilly at the moment, both inside and outside the house. Our house is actually older than central heating, so it gets quite chilly. We do have heaters, they're just not particularly economical or effective, so we don't use them very much. If we can help it, we'd rather put on jumpers and hot water bottles and blankets and things, which is all good. So yeah, this has been getting a lot of wear since I finished making it. It was a super quick, so once I'd actually got my head around the way to do the kangaroo pocket and the hood, they were the tricky bits. But once those bits were done, it came together really nice and quickly. I think next time I'll put a band on the bottom, like on the cuffs where it's got this band in the same fabric as the main fabric. I was tempted to do it in the contrast, which I might do on another time, a bit more colour blocking, but I thought that the kangaroo pocket was enough. But the pattern actually has just a hem at the bottom rather than a band, and I'm thinking actually I'd quite like it to cinch in a little bit more. So I think next time I'll do that. I have again made the largest size in the Tilly patterns, which is a good comfy slouchy size for me. If it was a thinner fabric I'd probably size down a little bit to get a slightly more fitted look to it, but this is super cozy and I can layer up underneath it, so it is great for secret pyjamas, and for where it's just keeping it nice and toasty and warm when I'm out and about. So yeah, really pleased with this make. The fabric was really easy to sew, even though you're going through 3 layers of quite thick fabric at some points, plus interfacing when you're applying the kangaroo pocket. The other thing I would like to adjust next time is making the kangaroo pocket slightly larger. It's an okay size, I can get both my hands in it, but I just think it'd be a little bit more effective for me to be just a smidge larger, and I possibly wouldn't do it double layered. I might do a bit of self-facing on it or something. Have a little bit of a fiddle around and see what I can work out with that. But all in all, I'm quite pleased with it. I wear it a lot, as I say, and yeah, really pleased. So that's Stella. At some point, I will probably make the joggers that go with it, probably not in matching fabric. Nothing wrong with wearing matching joggers and hoodie, and at some point I may well do it. But I only bought enough of this fabric for the hoodie. I do have some left over, but not enough to make a pair of trousers out of. So I'll probably get a contrasting or complementary colour to do another set with, and I can mix and match. This is great over jeans. Moving on to finished objects that I'm not currently wearing. I will, however, insert a photo of me wearing, or a twirl of me wearing, the first finished object, which you have been seeing on and off for months. This was a test knit for the lovely Mina Phillip Knitting Expat. So the pattern is not yet released, but it is the Big Red, which is this gorgeous stockinette striped jumper with cabling detail on the raglan that then goes, show you the other side where I wasn't adding in the new colours because it looks a little bit neater. This is cabling detail coming down the raglan, increase down the side of the jumper, so it's all the way down there, and then it curves in at the bottom. So although there's no actual waist shaping in the jumper, I have actually, when I've been wearing it out and about, been complimented on the shaping of it, which is all an optical illusion from the cables coming down the side. So really pleased with that. It's in Cascade 220 fingering weight, which is nice and soft to knit with, very cost effective, very affordable. I understand from watching the Stranded podcast with Amy Florence that there are some issues with the ethics of Cascade, so I will be thinking carefully as to whether or not I would want to buy from them again, particularly as this has already needed to be depilled quite significantly. I mean, it's comfy, it's cosy, it's a soft wool, but I have worn it again a lot since I finished it, and I have already had to depill it. But yeah, overall really pleased with it. Nice simple sew, nice simple knit. And yeah, it takes a little bit of a while to get through all the stocking stitch, but it is a moody knit, as long as you're paying attention when you get to the cables. But there are markers in place for that in the pattern. So yeah, really pleased with that one. Keep an eye out for when the pattern gets released. And all the information on my needles and yarn and everything will be on my project page on Ravelry. I'm ZozieM on Ravelry. So that's that finished object. I have another Mina Phillip pattern that I have finished over the past couple of weeks since I last saw you, and that is the Winter Yancy socks. These are in Fairy Realm yarn, in their not Fairy Yarn, these ones are in Pixie yarn, in the Snow Day colourway, which was a seasonal sock set. This is the main Snow Day colour here, and then the contrast heels, toe and cuff came as a mini in that set as well. It's 75/25 superwash merino nylon, so it's ideal for socks. And the Winter Gancy pattern has all this texturing coming up. I followed the same order of repeats as Mina did in her sample, obviously knitted to my size, and I basically used all of the main colour to get the main bit done. I've got some of the blue left. Pretty much all of the yarn was used for the main part of the sock, and it took a time to toe up. But it is pretty much a choose your own adventure sock pattern. There's no requirement for you to exactly follow the order or the number of repeats that Mina did. I just happened to choose to do so. Mina tends to do garter short row heels. I've done mine in stocking stitch. And then we've got a broken rib cuff at the top. Mina recommends about 20 rows of ribbing. I've done 16, just because I felt that was a better balance for the width of the repeats that I've done, particularly given that it was a contrast colour. I might have done a few more rows if it was in the main colour. So that's my finished objects for the past few weeks. Hopefully little miss over my shoulder isn't snoring too loudly today. She does tend to snore a little bit, so if you do hear a squeak, that'll be her. So that's my finished objects: the Stella, the big red, and the socks. So moving on to works in progress. I have 2 projects that I am actively working on at the moment. One is living in my Adipose by Amelia X Joy project bag. This I bought just for Christmas, and I showed it to you when it arrived, with the yarn that the Winter Gansey socks are knitted in and the yarn that these socks are knitted in. Again, Mina Phillip pattern. I've got a lot of Mina Phillip stuff on the go. Not that I've been actively working in the past couple of weeks, but I've got another jumper that's all caked up ready to go, and I've got a shawl of hers that is nearly finished, and I have a cowl pattern to go with the hat that I test knit for her that is waiting for the yarn to be caked up to go. So this work in progress is not far off finished. This is the Candy Cane socks. So this pattern is available on its own. It's got this right leaning twist pattern going around it. It is available as an individual pattern, or if you join the Season Sock Club that Mina's running at the moment, you get this pattern free, and then you get the 4 monthly patterns that are being released as well, which is a pretty good deal. That's what I did. So I cast these on before Christmas because I bought the same yarn for my stepmother and wanted to show her what it would knit up like when she put it on Christmas Day. So this is the Fairy Realms yarn in their Christmas tree colourway. So again, contrast mini came with it, and then the main Christmas tree colour here. So I have got this much of the Christmas tree colourway left, so I'm going to keep knitting until I run out of that before I do the cuffs, and I'll probably do a similar length cuff on these as I did on the Winter Gansey socks. Again, she's recommending 20 rows, but I might do a few less. We'll see how it goes. So that's the active work in progress sock-wise. These ones won't count for the box of socks count, whereas the Winter Ganseys will, because I cast them on the 1st of January, whereas these were cast on last year, so they don't count. But I am at least on track for the box of socks. I know we're only 1 month in, but hey, 1 out of 1's not bad. The other work in progress that I've got on the go at the moment, you might be able to see it in the corner here. Again, I have shown you this project before. It is living in this brilliant bucket bag, which is by Fool's Gold. I have no idea where you can buy it from. This was a present from a student at the end of last academic year, a 6-year-old student who knew that I knitted and decided she wanted to get me something for my knitting for my end of year teacher present, which was really sweet. It's huge, it can fit loads in it. So I quite often have several other project bags with projects in here to move it around the house. It comes with a shoulder strap and everything, and it's got these slots on the top that you can thread yarn through as well. So great bag for large projects. But like I say, no idea where you get it from, how much it costs, anything like that, because it was a gift. But living in this bag is my jumper for my other half that was supposed to be his birthday present. His birthday was the 30th of December. It's now the 20th of January. Yeah. I might have left it a little bit late to cast this one on, but we have decided that we're going to start a tradition of me knitting him a jumper for his birthday each year. That may morph into other things, but at the moment it's a jumper. So I've already shown you the front, and you can see it goes on forever because he is 6'4". Okay, that's the front. This is the Forest Hill pattern by Erica Knight. The front is pretty much as per the pattern, except that I have cast on the smallest size number of stitches and then kept knitting until the right length for my other half. I am now working on the back. So it's the bottom up, knit in the flap, seam together sweater pattern. I am about 2 rows away from the armpits on this one, so I'm nearly there. So we're going to do 2 more rows. The original pattern then has you do this patterning all the way up to the shoulders on the back, and you do a 3 needle cast off to join this back to the front. I'm going to continue this patterning up to about there, and then do the 2x2 ribbing up the top, because we felt that that was more in keeping with our style, well, my other half style more importantly, than having this going all the way up to the shoulders. Once that's done and the shoulders are grafted together, I've just got the sleeves and the neckband to do, and joining up the side seam. The sleeves are in 2x2 rib, so they'll be quite simple to do, quite quick to do. And the neckband again should be fairly simple. So I am anticipating this getting finished and the socks getting finished this week. That shouldn't really be too big an ask. And then I can move on to clearing off my needles from some languishing whips that have been on needles for months. I've got an Oracle shawl that's it started, but it's not even halfway through yet. I've got the Mina Phillips changes shawl, which is not far off finished. I've got the Piercing Dreams to cast on and work on. I've got the Cumulus cowl to work on. I've got some Latvian mittens that I've started as part of the Blame Dunderknit cowl, but I've only got as far as 1 wrist on those. Who knows when that'll be finished. So I'm hoping to actually avoid casting on anything other than socks and the Parisian Dreams for the next foreseeable projects, because I want to clear off some needles before I do anything like buying more yarn and buying more patterns, so I've got needles free to do that. I've already worked out that I've got enough sock yarn for the box of socks to get 12 pairs of socks done without buying any more sock yarn. That's not to say that I won't buy any more sock yarn, just that I don't need to. So if I see some that I really like, then yes, I will pick it up. But I'm not going to go out looking for sock yarn because I have enough. But I do have one acquisition to show you this week. And it's a fabric acquisition. This is a fabric from Minerva Craft for the Minerva blog. I've done 3 or 4 projects for them now. So I did, 4. I did the Patine dress hack in a nautical polycotton print. I hacked it into separates instead of doing it as a dress. I've done a long line blue and gold sparkly lurex long line like duster cardigan. I did the Freya dress. Excuse me. And I also did the yellow scuba BB and Freya combo. It's better than minutes to sugar my drink, so my throat's getting a little bit dry. Anybody else love Eeyore? Or is it just me? There's something about Eeyore. It's mental health awareness and all that, which is such an important issue. Actually, my cousin's husband has recently released a short film highlighting mental health, particularly in men. It's called Dave, and he's Rookrush. So if you look up Rookrush and Dave on YouTube, you'll be able to see that short film. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box down below. Oh, that's still a bit serious for the middle of a knitting and sewing podcast, isn't it? But a really important issue. So yeah, I might come back to that at another point in another podcast. But this fabric that Minerva has sent me for my next blog post for them is a jersey fabric. It's a white background with a print on it, and it's totally non-directional. These women are all over the place. They're upside down, they're left to right. But how gorgeous is that print? I mean, the picture on the website does not do it justice at all. We've got women taking photographs, we've got eyes, we've got women looking quite fashionable, we've got guitars, we've got cups of coffee, clothes hanging up all over the place. So it's a really cool fabric. It's quite drapey. I mean, I've got 4 layers I'm holding together here because it's all folded up still. And you can still see that drape. It's a medium weight jersey and it's got this lovely texture to it. It's not quite a waffle texture, but it's on its way to being a waffle. So that is my next fabric from an herb blog. And I'm actually really quite excited to work with that. I asked them for 2 meters. I think they may have sent me more than that, which is fine, because it means I have plenty left over from what I've got planned. So I had a little look through my pattern collection, and I have a selection of patterns that I've bought, some that were PDFs, some that were paper patterns, and I have a few that came through with magazines. Towards the tail end of last year, Sew magazine had on its front cover Simplicity K8529, which sounds quite ordinary, but excitingly, that is actually another name for the Sew House 7 toaster sweater, which I have not made yet, but I will be making out of that Minerva Craft fabric. So there we are, that's the front pictures on the front. Then we've got the line drawings on the back. Okay, I am currently thinking that I'll be doing view A, which is this one at the end here. And if I show you on the front, it's this pink one in the middle. I might lengthen the back a little bit, shorten the front to make an asymmetrical or high-low-ish split hem, or I might just do it as patterned. I like the higher neck on it. I think that's going to work quite nicely with that particular fabric, and it'll complement my frayers. I'm quite tempted to try Frankie T with some of the leftovers, and maybe a plain jersey if I can get hold of one, but we'll see. Depends how much I have left after I've made this pattern. I've not made a toaster sweater, as I said before, so I'm really excited to have that, and amazed that it came through with the magazine because it is such a popular, trendy pattern. Okay, so excuse me. That's all my finished objects, my whips, my acquisition. So I'm moving on to the Re-sew-lutions. Lovely pun from Penguin and Pear. She's updated her questions from 2018. There's a series of 5 questions about your sewing plans and evaluating last year's sewing. Now, as I don't just sew, just to let you know, I am going to be considering knitting in my responses as well as sewing. If anyone can think of an equivalent term for knitting to Re-sew-lutions, do let me know. I haven't come up with one yet. So, first question. What's your favourite make of 2018 and why? Okay, so for sewing, that'll have to be the Tilly and the Buttons Freya sweater dress. It's more of a tunic length than a proper dress, in my opinion, so I may lengthen it if I make it again. But I made it out of a tan velour from Minerva Crafts, and I'll dig out a photo and put it here, maybe, possibly here, so I'm not covering up the cat. But it's cosy, it's comfy, it's got a lovely cowl neck on it, which comes with the pattern as an option. I did 3/4 length sleeves on it. It's really easy to wear, it was really quick, simple sew, and it's actually really warm as well in the velour. I wore it to my work Christmas do, and I actually wore it on Christmas Day as well. It's a secret pyjama dress. It can look really smart and snazzy if you pick the right fabric, but it is so comfy to wear. So yeah, really pleased with that one. I can see me making lots more frayers in various combinations and views over the coming months. Knitting wise would be the Winterfjell cardigan that I hacked from the jumper pattern by Skeindir Knits. This was my first top down colour work yoke sweater. It was my first heavily modified pattern that I've knit up, and it was my first steek. The pattern is written as a jumper or a sweater rather than a cardigan, but I felt that I would wear it more as a cardigan, so I hacked it by putting a steek in, which for those of you that don't knit, a steek is where you finish your knitting as a tube and then you cut it open. It's a little bit scary the first time you do it, but because of the way that knitting works, if you pick the right yarn, so you don't really want to use a slippy yarn necessarily, you want a woolly yarn, like a proper wool that's going to sort of cling to itself. Knit stitches loop around themselves, so they hold each other tight side by side. So if you drop a stitch, the run goes downwards, it doesn't go side to side. So if you cut up the middle, all you're doing is undoing that grip for those two stitches. But the stitches on this side and the stitches on this side are still holding hands, and they're holding on really tight. So the knitting's not going to unravel. Plus there are ways to reinforce the edge of your steek. I did a crochet line up the side of mine because I was using a Scandinavian yarn that I knew was quite woolly and was going to grip to itself. You can also use a sewing machine and run a line of stitches up it. There's all sorts of ways to reinforce it. If you're using a slippy yarn, then sewing machine's probably the way to go. A knit stitch or a zigzag stitch up either side of where you're going to cut. Then you pick up stitches for the bottom of the hand if it's the front of a cardigan. You can use steeks for armholes, neck holes, to create shaping in a garment. I've seen shawls that have been knit in the round and then steeked open, which would be good for colourwork shawls. So yeah, it's a scary concept to wrap your head around of, oh, I spent hours and hours and hours knitting this thing, really pleased with it, and now I'm going to cut it up. It's a little bit like the first time you do French seams and you have to put your wrong sides together, and that always seems a little bit weird. But yeah, really pleased with that. I also modified the pattern to put some extra short rows in to drop the back of the hem down and give you a little bit more length on the back, and to put colourwork on the hems and the cuffs. So yeah, my first majorly modified pattern, my first steek, and I wear it loads. Not so much at the moment because it's a fingering weight cardigan, and I'm needing it a little bit more warmth at the minute because it's really cold. But yeah, it's a really comfy, really budget friendly cardigan because I've made it out of Holsgarn, which I ordered from Denmark, and it arrived as quickly as if I bought it from somewhere in the UK, for a fraction of the price. So yeah, if you're looking for cheap yarn that is real wool and is thinner yarn, they don't really seem to do the chunky weights. It's sort of fingering to sport weight yarns that they seem to do, but you can always hold them 2 strands at a time. The yardage is amazing for the yarn. The colours are gorgeous. Then yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So I will be using Holsgarn again at some point. Okay, so question 2. What did you attempt in 2018 that you won't do this year? Honestly, nothing springs to mind. I've actually been quite pleased with everything I've made this year. And I might not use poly cotton much, but otherwise I'm actually really pleased with all my makes this year. I still have some acrylic projects to finish off, and I am moving away from acrylics for knitting and crochet, but they're blankets, so acrylic's practical. But yeah, and on the whole, I mean, I haven't made not everything that I've made I will wear a lot. In the nautical print I made from Nerve Crafts, whilst I like it, it is such a novelty print that it's not going to get a great deal of wear. And the BB Freya combo I'm probably not going to wear as a whole very much because it's just a bit too bright. But being scuba, it is nice and warm, so I've been wearing the Freya top underneath jumpers, so you can see the bright yellow neckline peeking through, and that's working quite well. It's keeping me nice and cozy. And the BB skirt is nice and comfortable, so I can see me wearing that with some neutrals, but not necessarily every day because it is just so bright. But that's not to say that I'm not pleased with them, and I will probably be making more BBs in Bettines and Freya's in the future, just in different fabrics. So yeah, nothing springs to mind that I wouldn't want to do again. It's more that I want to try lots more new things. I want to try soap making, I want to try bath bomb making, I want to make some melted candles. Lots of stuff I want to do. I want to develop my spinning and my weaving more, because I'm really very much beginner at the moment. Time just gets away with me a little bit, and I don't have as much time to spend on the new stuff around work and doing the projects I've already got on the go. So that's probably more what I'm thinking. It's more about what I want to do rather than what I don't want to do. Question 3, what will you continue to make? Socks. Lots of socks. I am determined to complete a box of socks this year, so that's 12 pairs of hand knitted fingering weight socks, adult sized, over the course of the year. So that's a pair of socks a month, which is doable now that I've started at the beginning of the year. And if I can get 2 pairs a month done for the first few months of the year, then that'll get me nicely ahead of the game in case things come up later in the year. But yeah, lots of socks knitting wise, a few more jumpers, probably not so many shawls this year. So I've got 2 shawls on the needles at the moment, and I've already got 3 shawls that are done, so probably not so many of those. But yeah, socks, jumpers, cardigans for knitting. For sewing, I can see me making lots more Freya's. I want to make some more trousers. Whilst I do like wearing skirts, because I cycle, I find trousers generally more practical, and I'm more likely to be in jeans than a skirt when I'm lounging around at home. But I can see me making more trousers and tops, lots more Freya's. I've got a few other patterns that I've got lined up with fabric ready to get sort of traced out and cut out and made. I can see you making more Stella tops as well. So there's those. Question number 4. What will you try this year that you haven't tried before? Sewing wise, bag making. I bought the Annette pattern by Swoon a while ago, and haven't had the chance to make it yet. I've got the fabric, so I'm going to upcycle an old mini skirt that I no longer wear. It's grey and yellow tartan mini skirts. They're not what you wear when you're 40. It was what I wore in my early 20s. So I'm going to upcycle that, assuming there's enough fabric in it. It's a wool fabric, so that'll be nice. And I've got already some blue faux leather to use as well. But I don't have the metal hardware. I've got all the interfacing and all that sort of stuff, but not metal hardware. So as soon as I've got that, I'm going to have a go at making a bag, like a handbag bag. So I want a handbag that's big enough to put a knitting project bag in comfortably. My current handbag is a bit of a squeeze. Knitting wise, I actually want to go at designing stuff to knit myself. And I've improvised a pair of socks, but I've not knitted up anything that I've purposefully sat down and calculated and worked out the design for yet. So I would like to do that. So I've got a shawl idea in mind, I've got a sweater idea in mind. I might start with socks, as I'm already committed to a sock project for the year. We'll see. But yeah, that's my knitting plan, is to actually design and knit something purposefully and mindfully myself. Not necessarily to start selling it. I don't know if I'm any good at the moment because I've never done it. So yeah, I want to give that a go and see if it's something that I can actually do in sort of a premeditated manner rather than sort of make it up as I go. And question 5, where do you see your wardrobe at the end of this year, and where do you see it in 5 years' time? Well, end of 2019, I would like to have a better curated wardrobe. At the moment, my wardrobe is half of it's in the loft and backpack bag, some of it's under the bed. I've got a mountain on top of my chest of drawers, because I've got very little hanging space in my tiny little house. My chest of drawers are bursting at the seams. So yeah, better curated, with a significant proportion of it being me-made items. I'm not aiming to be an entirely me-made wardrobe at any point. There will always be things that I will see that I'll go, yeah, actually, I quite fancy that, and I'll pick that up. Or there'll be some basics that I'm like, well, they're cheap enough to buy. Do I really want to make them? That's my thinking at the moment, anyway. So certainly for this year, I'm not aiming to be totally me-made. But yeah, I would like to have a significant proportion of my wardrobe being everyday wear items that are me-made, and not have an explosion of clothes across my bedroom. So it's going to take a lot of sorting out. 5 years time, more of the same really. I'm hoping by that point to be approximately 85% me made. So again, I'm not aiming for a totally me made wardrobe. I think I need the input from the professionals to help me focus my style. But you don't know, I might exceed my expectations and end up with an entirely me made wardrobe. Who knows? Never say never, as it were. So yeah, by all means do your own Re-sew-lutions. Let us know what you're coming up with, and pop over to Penguin and Pear and see what she came up with for hers. It was her brainchild, I believe. Certainly the first one that I saw was from Claire at Penguin and Pear. And as I say, Charlotte Kitchenish Behaviour has done hers too. Like and subscribe down below. Stalk me all over the interweb. I'm on Instagram as ZozieM. Ravelry is ZozieM, and we do have a Ravelry group where I post links to the videos. That's over on the groups tab under You on Ravelry, so do look us up. And there is a written blog at You-sew-you.com, which I am aiming this year to get into a proper routine of regularly posting written updates, photo tutorials, that kind of thing over there, and show notes for the podcast when they're relevant will be on the blog and in the Ravelry group. And links will be down below as well. So that's all I have for you this week. I'm off to do some twirls and get some photos of things ready for sharing with you guys. And I am aiming to be back seeing you again next week. So until then, have a good week. I hope you get lots of creative goodness done. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.